Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm introducing version 4.2 of the Commands and Colors Napoleonics module from Vassal. You can download both the module and Vassal itself from the vassalengine.org website, which is currently displaying on the screen here. Using the module, we'll play through the first few turns of a Commands and Colors Napoleonics game. I will highlight new features and demonstrate how you can get the best out of the module in your games. For this introduction, prior knowledge of the game and the use of Vassal for playing board games is assumed. If you want to learn more about these topics, I provided some links where I posted the video. The update builds on version 4 features to streamline gameplay and reduce errors. I'm going to be using the base or blue deck in the game. Afterwards, I will cover some setup options and special features, including the alternative deck and tactician card play. But first, let's take a quick tour of some of the new features before we dive into some sample turns. Scenarios are now pre-configured, with the number of cards to be drawn and which side moves first. In a standard setup, before the game starts, these card numbers are displayed on the left-hand side of the board by the appropriate icon, and these numbers are maintained during the game as well. As with earlier versions, scenario notes provide details of special rules. And they also have the card numbers as well, which you can feel free to double check. In addition, you can now get direct access to the scenario homepage from a link under the Help menu, Scenario homepage. And that'll take you direct to the page on commandsandcolors.net. You can read more details about the scenario there. And at the end of the game, should you feel so inclined, you may record which side has won that scenario in your game. So, start a game in the normal way, clicking on the appropriate type of deck that you wish to play the game with. And there we see the configuration of the scenario coming into play. The move first player will click on the deal cards icon. If you right click on that menu, there's an option to switch the side across to allow for special rules. But normally, just click on the deal cards icon if you're the move first player and go from there. So that immediately deals and displays the window for the player who's clicked that button. Here I'm running in solitaire mode just for simplicity's sake. So that's the first feature, pre-configured scenarios. Now we play a card, and that brings us to another feature. We look on the left-hand side of the board. The number of orders available are now displayed. And as we move through the ordering process, in this case just by clicking on the units and to be ordered, that number is reduced and eventually disappears. If I try to order too many units, an error icon comes up. When I correct it, perhaps by moving a unit back to its starting position and unordering it, now I'm back and I'm okay. This feature does support detaching leaders as well. Occasionally it will get confused, but it's just an advisory feature. So if you're sure that everything's fine, then there's no need to pay it any attention. So there we've ordered some units. Let's change that around. Let's not do that. Let's instead order that again. And there we go. We can see here another feature has come into play, which is that icons appear to show you where a unit can't battle. And in this case, in the case of the cavalry here moving into a wood, may move no further as well. If I try to move too far, and a stop icon comes up to indicate that I've gone beyond where I should, I can just move back, and that will clear again. So that's that feature: order and movement tracking. Now, so let's we end the turn here. You end it from the menu in hand. You will notice that these icons in the hand, if you are familiar with previous version of the module, are much simplified. End turn is now a single button or key press if you wish to use F12. Special rules for scout handling, scout card play, they're also supported, and we'll notice those when a scout card is played. But generally speaking, for most games, you can simply use that one button or key press, F12, and the turn has moved over. Because I'm playing solitaire, that has now flipped immediately to show me the French hand. This is one of the optional features. You can keep both windows on screen if you wish, or you can flip. Now let's see another feature of the order tracking. I click on the left, play the left. You can see that has automatically ordered the only possible units that can be ordered from that card. So let's get and show some combat now. So to combat, I click on an ordered unit, click on a target, and we notice to the right hand of the board there is a widget that's new to this version of the module, which is effectively a combat assist feature. So it will tell you the number of dice that you get to roll for this combat, taking movement, special unit or features and terrain into account. In this case, it's just 2 dice. The widget itself also shows you which side it's weighted on input for. So in this case, it's weighted on input from the French. And normally I can just click on that to roll 2 dice, or press F5, which is the combat assist progress button. Or I could still roll any number of dice I wish. So if you think the combat assist is incorrect, you just wish to press the 2 button, then away you go. But we now see the dice rolls have been cavalry and infantry. So it displays the number of hits in this icon, the hits icon, and the number of hits. Displays it in 2 places. Over here by the combat assist widget, which acts as a central area. You can just do all your operations from that widget if you wish. And for clarity, it shows which unit is going to incur that hit over here on the Portuguese. And I can click there, I can click on the combat assist widget, I can press F5 again, and it will apply the hit. Everything is logged as well. So this is the new way to apply hits in the module. Legacy methods still there, but the best way to use the module is to take advantage of what combat assist is doing. It's possible there are right click commands on the hits icons to allow you to basically cancel them, do whatever you wish, but hopefully it will more often than not be correct. So I end that turn and back now to the allies. So let's see another card play feature in the game, particular to Force March. So here, when I click on Force March, it doesn't immediately play it. It gives me the option to choose which section that card is going to be played to. I can cancel that and decide to play another card, or I can choose the particular section. And this is screen orientation. So, this here, what I'm showing the cursor on the left-hand side of the little mini icon, and it's telling me that if I click on that, I will order 3 units on the left-hand section of the screen. So let's do that. There we go. And it's programmed so that it knows it checks whether there's infantry on the board at all, and it would just let you order one cut. It would just play and do one order only if that was the case. So just do some infantry moves and more combat. So now it's the allies who are shown as being combat inside. As with the previous version of the module, I can indicate retire and reform from the target unit. Still roll 3 dice. Start clicking, no hits, and now I just drag the unit. And it's best to drag units from either the very bottom right or the top right, for reasons that will become a bit more clear once we do some retreats. Moving on with the combat. No effect, so just move straight on. And now let's move to the next. Let's have this slightly enlarged. Okay, so let's try in the land just to show how that works with the end turn. So with the ordering, we have an Elan icon now on the order side. So that just is a roll 5 dice. Again, I could just roll any number of dice from the ribbon, or I can roll the 5 from the ribbon. And then it analyzes to say, well, we have 5 valid orders here. In fact, it won't be possible to make 5 orders because 3 of those are artillery. And there's only 1 artillery unit we can do. But nonetheless, it's a slight assistance in counting the orders down. Once we're done, that will go away, and the orders count goes away once we're doing the once we're doing the combat. So you'll notice that combat also takes cards into account, and just to show you that it's recognized that you've played a card with a bonus on it, then the combat assist icon displays the +1. If we work that out, you'll realize that a moving French line firing into woods would have been 1 dice, and with the card it's 2. Click on that. So you do the combat and another hit on the Portuguese light. And now there was also a retreat. So we see the retreat icon of the combat assist feature. As I was saying earlier, possible to right click on these icons and see a whole range of different possibilities, most of which one normally won't need to use, but occasionally you might. And one of those is to completely cancel it, in which case you could switch to a manual mode if you think something's not right at all. But normally the apply hits is the default, and that's what happens if you click on the icon. It's not the default if you move it, obviously. So if this Portuguese light were unable to move and it incurred a 1 hex retreat, which is what that 1 means there, then you would simply click on the combat assist icon or press F5 and it would apply the hit and remove the unit in this case. However, we can retreat, so we just move it back. And again, as I was saying, best to move it by dragging on the top right or the very bottom right corner of the unit. That's to avoid the active area of the flag, which would apply the hit. So we have retreated, which is why, against that eventuality, the French light moved over here. And they now get, there's now 4 dice with the card onto the Portuguese light, 1 hit, and another retreat. And finally, the artillery gets the combat, 1 retreat. But this time, the retreat is not mandatory, so that's indicating there's a 1 hex retreat possible, but because it's in green and there's no hits icon, it means that clicking on that simply applies the ability to ignore the flag. It is possible to partially ignore, but that's a simple case of just ignore. Also, you could just do nothing there and just let the other player progress with their turn, and it will just carry on. So here we are, end turn, no special buttons for Elan, and it's done. So there we are. That's a quick whistle-stop tour of all the new features. We've seen how the move first player presses the deal cards icon at the beginning of the game, which deals both hands and cards. We've seen how when you play a card, their orders are tracked. It's not totally comprehensive, that feature. It doesn't do section by section, for example, but hopefully it will highlight some of the errors that sometimes we make, and it will automatically order where it can. Similarly, movement rules are highlighted for no battle and so on. Features such as forced marches, where some units can battle and others can't when they move to, that is all supported. We've also seen most of the features of the combat assist. Also integrated with that, which we didn't see here in the quick demo, is the leader checks. They will occur at the appropriate time and then be taken into account with any retreats that might be mandatory or otherwise. And we saw the much streamlined end turn with its ability to automatically do the alarm. It will automatically replace first strike as well, and it will automatically present the 2 scout choice cards and so on. In the tactician card variant of the game, that's all integrated as well with the features that we've seen. Okay, that's it for quick tour. Let's get on with a sample game.